For thousands of years, at the heart of the barren valley of Makkah, stood a structure that would become the spiritual center of the world's largest monotheistic faith. The Kaabah is not simply a building of stone and cloth. It is a living symbol of worship, continuity, and devotion that spans generations of prophets and civilizations. According to Islamic tradition, the story of the Kaabah begins at the very dawn of human history. Long before cities rose or empires formed, the first house dedicated solely to the worship of one God was established on this very spot. The Quran states that the first house appointed for mankind was in Makkah, an ancient name for Makkah, blessed, and a guidance for all people. Many classical scholars hold that the original foundations of the Kaabah were laid by Prophet Adam, peace be upon him, shortly after his arrival on earth. This early sanctuary was intended as a place where humanity could turn toward God alone, free from idols, intermediaries, or worldly power. Over time, natural disasters and floods are believed to have erased the structure, leaving only its sacred foundations preserved by divine will. Centuries later, the valley of Makkah remained uninhabited. It was dry, isolated, and seemingly unsuitable for life. That changed dramatically with the arrival of Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, one of the most pivotal figures in monotheistic history. Around the early 2nd millennium BCE, Prophet Ibrahim was commanded by God to bring his wife Hajar and their infant son Ismail to this desolate valley. Trusting fully in God's command, he left them there with little provision. What followed is one of the most powerful stories of reliance upon God. As their supplies ran out, Hajar searched desperately for water, running between the hills of Safa and Marwa 7 times. Her perseverance was rewarded when the well of Zamzam miraculously sprang forth beneath the feet of infant Ismail. This moment transformed Makkah into a place of life, settlement, and divine blessing. Years later, Prophet Ibrahim returned to Makkah and reunited with his son Ismail, now grown. It was at this moment that God commanded them to raise the Kaabah once again upon its ancient foundations. Together, father and son rebuilt the structure, stacking stones by hand, lifting walls with devotion rather than grandeur. As they worked, they prayed that their efforts would be accepted, acknowledging that the act itself was for God alone. The Kaabah they built was simple in form. It had no roof, no door, and no decoration. Its purpose was singular and clear, a sanctuary dedicated exclusively to the worship of one God. Prophet Ibrahim then proclaimed pilgrimage to humanity, calling people to journey to this house as an act of devotion. According to Islamic belief, his call was carried across time, answered by hearts centuries later. After the time of Prophet Ibrahim and Ismail, the Kaabah remained a center of monotheistic worship for generations. However, over centuries, deviations slowly crept in. The descendants of Ismail settled in Makkah, forming tribes that would eventually include Quraysh. As trade routes expanded and tribal influence grew, the purity of worship began to erode. By around the 4th century CE, idol worship had entered the Kaabah. Statues representing various deities were placed inside and around it. Though the structure still commanded respect, its original purpose was distorted. Pilgrimage continued, but it was now mixed with practices inherited from tribal customs rather than prophetic guidance. Despite this corruption, the Kaabah retained immense status among the Arabs. It was considered sacred territory where violence was forbidden. Even rival tribes respected its sanctity. Quraysh, the custodians of the Kaabah, gained prestige through its care, maintenance, and service to pilgrims. In approximately 605 CE, when Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was 35 years old, the Kaabah was damaged by flooding. Quraysh decided to rebuild it using lawful earnings only, refusing to include wealth gained through injustice. During reconstruction, a dispute arose over who would have the honor of placing the black stone back into position. Tensions escalated to the brink of violence. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, known for his honesty and wisdom even before prophethood, was chosen as the arbitrator. He resolved the conflict by placing the black stone on a cloth and inviting leaders of each clan to lift it together. He then positioned the stone himself. This moment not only prevented bloodshed, but highlighted his exceptional character years before revelation. At the age of 40, in 610 CE, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, received the first revelation of the Quran. With this event, the call of Prophet Ibrahim was renewed. The message was clear and uncompromising. Worship God alone and abandon all idols. For 13 years in Makkah, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, faced intense opposition. The Kaabah remained filled with idols, and Muslims were persecuted for their beliefs. Eventually, the Prophet migrated to Medina in 622 CE, an event known as the Hijrah, which marks the beginning of the Islamic calendar. 8 years later, in 630 CE, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, returned to Makkah at the head of a large following. Contrary to expectations of revenge, the city was entered peacefully. Upon reaching the Kaabah, the Prophet ordered the destruction of all idols inside and around it. As each statue fell, he recited verses affirming that truth had come and falsehood had vanished. With this act, the Kaabah was restored to its original purpose as a sanctuary of pure monotheism, exactly as established by Prophet Ibrahim centuries earlier. From that moment onward, it became the central direction of prayer for Muslims worldwide and the focal point of pilgrimage. In his final years, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught that the Kaabah was not sacred because of its stones, but because of what it represented: submission to God alone. During his farewell pilgrimage in 632 CE, he reaffirmed the sanctity of Makkah and the Kaabah, leaving behind a legacy that continues to guide over 1 billion people today. From its earliest foundations laid by Prophet Adam, to its rebuilding by Prophet Ibrahim and Ismail, to its purification by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the Kaabah stands as a symbol of continuity in divine worship. It has witnessed humanity's rise and fall, deviation and return, forgetfulness and remembrance. If you found this journey through history meaningful, make sure to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Islam with Aslan for more engaging, fact-based content exploring Islamic history, faith, and civilization.